Welcome, Pisnicios, to Geek Salad's Retro Reviews from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
And tonight we are starting off our holiday season, our holiday discussion, as it were, mainly because, like we said on our podcast, this entire year has been always winter, never Christmas. So we decided we're going to bring Christmas a little early because we need a little Christmas right this very minute. And we are going to kick it off with a classic that is appearing on Disney Plus. As I think every movie that's going to be in this year's series of Christmas movies are all on Disney Plus, I believe.
That sounds about right, actually.
There's 3 other movies that we've chosen to discuss. Yes, and all 3 of them are on Disney Plus.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so one-stop shop for everything. So tonight we're kicking it off with Mickey's Christmas Carol from 1983. Mm-hmm. The movie itself is only about what's the running time on this? Like
26 minutes.
26 minutes. It's a nice, tidy retelling of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. That's Dickens with 2 Ks, the well-known Dutch author.
It's actually the very first version of A Christmas Carol I ever saw.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Well, because I was like 5 when this one came out.
That's true. I remember this. I didn't see this one when it came out in theaters. It was like one of those things where whatever they used to, pre-VHS era, they would just release older Disney movies out to theaters. And 1983 didn't have an official release all its own,
right,
as far as I can recall. Actually, I think this might have been the widest gap between 1981's The Fox and the Hound and 1985's Black Cauldron, I believe.
This was released on December 16th, 1983, with a Christmas reissue of The Rescuers.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. That's one of those movies we haven't gone back and watched on Disney Plus yet.
It's been a very long time.
It feels unfinished.
Yeah.
But we're talking about this one because this is a really good one to start. I think if you want to kick your kids off on a really good one to show them, to kick them off in this long filmography of Ebenezer Scrooge, this is the one to start with.
Yeah.
I feel like as for as many liberties as it takes, it still feels genuine and it feels accurate compared to others. Rankin and Bass put out one in the 70s called The Stingiest Men in Town. Which is,
I think I've heard of that one, yeah.
We discussed that. We talked about Rankin and Bass like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
One of our epic Christmas episodes. But the problem with that one was they really tried to shoehorn the word stingy as a word in a song a lot. But this one is just it's a lot of fun. I remember seeing this for the first time as part of like a Disney Christmas collection in like the later 80s. So they essentially prefaced it with they're telling a story of A Christmas Carol. They called it Mickey's Christmas Carol because, all those hopeless bootlicks that hang around Mickey. But it didn't have the song that kicks off the short film.
Really? Because that feels like a staple now.
It is a staple now, but because you can watch it separately. It's also funny too, Mike, that you mentioned that this came out on a re-release of The Rescuers, because when I went to go see The Rescuers Down Under, I actually saw that in the theater, and Mickey's the Prince and the Pauper was a short film in front of that one. So it's kind of interesting that The Rescuers are there. Their launching ground for the short movies.
I remember this one being a lot longer than 26 minutes, but I think it was because I always saw it on Christmas, like around the Christmas time, and they would always like show it with a couple of Christmas themed or snow themed Mickey in classic shorts and
Yeah,
cartoons.
which you can kind of put together your own playlist this year on Disney Plus, which is kind of nice. Oh boy, Santa's Workshop. Oh, we cut out the scene that everybody talks about, kids.
Yeah, I think I always remembered it with the Mickey and Pluto one where Pluto's chasing Chip and Dale in the Christmas tree.
We watched that one too.
Yeah, I think they always included that one with
it
that.
Actually is really good.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, the worst part about that is Mickey. Mickey doesn't sound right, and he looks a little. I know it's going to sound weird talking about an animated character like this, but he looks a little too cartoony.
Okay.
He's the most cartoony I think that Mickey Mouse has ever looked. There are more authentic versions, I would say.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Well, speaking of voices, though, Mickey's Christmas Carol, the very first time that Alan Young voiced Scrooge McDuck.
That's right. That's right. It is, and it's also the last time.
Last theatrical time.
Voiced Donald Duck, huh?
Last theatrical time. I think he did it with he did like some commercials after theirs, but this is the last like major.
The very next year.
2 years later.
I thought he died in 84.
85.
He died in 85. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember I was like in 7th grade when that happened. So, but yeah, no, this is one of the better, especially because most of these characters, Mickey, Goofy, Donald, took a long hiatus from released movies.
Yeah, this was actually Mickey's first theatrically released movie in like 30 years at the time.
Yeah, it was like the 1950s the last time.
Yeah.
They did one. And they definitely didn't cut corners. It's well made, it looks good. There's a lot of little Easter eggs too that longtime Disney fans like you and I are.
Yeah.
You would notice that. The big bad wolf is dressed up as Santa Claus at the very beginning, and the 3 little pigs are singing Christmas carols.
There were a lot more. I had forgotten exactly how many characters from Mr. Toad's that they used in this one.
Yeah,
they used them all.
The horse that Donald is using to drive his cart is or his carriage rather, is from Wind in the Willows. I really kind of want to say some of those woodland animals in Fezziwig's were probably from Song of the South.
Yeah, I mean Fezziwig was Mr. Toad.
Mr. Toad, yeah.
The 2 people collecting for the poor were the mole and the
mole and muskrat.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And even still, the bringing the giant back from Mickey and the Beanstalk.
Oh yeah,
bringing him back. Jiminy Cricket, which there was a nice little aside to not only let him do that, but giving him the badge.
Yes,
to go along with it.
And I mean, honestly, the only real kind of gripe I have about this is I'm fine with them using Pete as the Ghost of Christmas Future, but I do not like him talking. They have to give him that line, and it just every time I'm like, oh no.
But you know what the thing is though, is that because they can't show the full impact like they can in other versions.
Yeah.
I really felt that if they were going to do it, it would feel out of place in a long form telling of the story. But I think with this one, just to kind of like prove your point, yours, Ebenezer, the richest man in the cemetery. It's just to show that money can't buy everything.
Yeah,
I was fine. I honestly, I have no problem with that at all.
It's like I don't. It's not a major qualm. It's just out of everything that they do in the movie, and I think that I love this movie. I think it's phenomenal. That's just the one I was like, yeah.
Yep.
I think my favorite bit of casting though is probably Goofy as Jacob Marley.
He's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him as like being as miserly as Jacob Marley was, but just what they do with him in that short little bit, it's like that is so goofy right there.
It is. It is. I felt that I really didn't care for a lot of because I have a hard time picturing Goofy swindling orphans and widows.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the overall performance, as it were, really stood out to me. I love the design, the character design of Goofy Marley is great. It really is. It's a really clever design.
The voice isn't quite there, but they hadn't gotten Bill Farmer in yet, so
right.
it was kind of as close as they were going to get at the time.
Yeah. Go back to Alan Young real quick though. As Scrooge, what a great. I mean, I know that Scrooge had been around prior to that, but I really feel like this is where Scrooge McDuck really kind of is first. In this one, he's allowed to take center stage.
Yeah,
but really starting that push with you get this, and then about 6 years later you get DuckTales.
5 years later, I think DuckTales. I want to say DuckTales was 88.
Okay, I was thinking it came out in 89, but I could be wrong about that.
It was either 88 or 89.
I was most definitely in high school, like later high school when it came out. So, but just the fact that they turned Scrooge into a more fleshed out character, and I think it attributes it mainly can thank this. It could thank Mickey's Christmas Carol. Yeah,
4 years later, actually, it came out in 87.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that early.
I kind of just working our way back. I mean, Donald is Donald in this one. He's not nearly as clever. I love Donald Duck. I unapologetically love Donald Duck, but this was not. It was just kind of there.
He serves the purpose of being Fred.
He serves the purpose of being Fred, but you don't even get the advantage of seeing him at home like you do in most tellings of Scrooge, where he's Christmas present he's actually brought to Fred's house and witnesses the party, witness how everybody just despises him. And then Mickey as Bob Cratchit, which it fits. I'm glad I'm glad they didn't give Mickey the Scrooge part for two reasons. One,
it wouldn't have fit.
It would not have worked at all. You can't really cast Mickey as a villain. I mean, I cringe when I see those things at Disney World with Mickey and with the Darth Vader helmet on and the lightsaber. I'm like, no, that's wrong.
I've actually got I've got a pin over there of Happy Revenge of the Fifth with Goofy as Darth Vader. And I think out of all of the characters, I think Donald would be a good Darth Vader.
He might be, yeah. I mean, the speech impediment with the respirator, I'm sure that would work.
But yeah. But yeah, I mean, Mickey. I think you had to have Mickey in there somewhere. And if he wasn't going to be Scrooge, I think Cratchit is probably. I mean, it's the co-starring role, really.
It is, and considering it's Mickey's Christmas Carol, which not really
I mean,
Carol to tell, but
you could have called it Disney's Christmas Carol, but whatever.
Exactly. They're minor quibbles. In terms of overall filmmaking, this is a really good story. I think it's as a Cliff Notes version of the Dickens tale. I think it's very good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even more so than like when you see like back in that spate of like the late 80s, early 90s when every sitcom did their own Christmas Carol. Did I do that?
Yes, you did.
Ebenezer Urkel.
Hold on, my kitties want to go out.
Oh yeah, sure. You do that. I will. Yes. I will discuss more about this fun little film. We're kind of in the middle right now of doing a we're trying to watch as many versions of A Christmas Carol as we can this year as part of our viewing. Primarily because there are so many different tellings of it. We actually saw one. The nice thing about having a Roku TV is that you can just do a search and plug in the title, and it'll come up with wherever you can get them. So we watched the 1910 silent version, which is 10 minutes long. And I'll admit, for a movie that was made 110 years ago, they really were innovative with. I mean, it must have knocked the audience's socks off to see ghosts.
Yeah.
In a movie. And all it is it's just layering the film negatives one on top of each other. But it's really cool how they did that.
Sorry, I got a tail on my face.
That's fine. That's fine. But we saw that. Last night we watched Scrooge with Albert Finney.
Not a bad version.
Not a bad version. When it works well. When it doesn't work, it's terrible. And there's your mustache.
Yeah. I mean, I've always said that my favorite just straight version of A Christmas Carol is the Patrick Stewart version.
Excellent. I love the George C. Scott version personally.
Yes.
But and then there's the Muppet version, which actually will come up in conversation this season. I'm shocked we didn't do that in the prior 2 years that we've been doing these reviews. I'm shocked we never did. We never touched this one.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, we saved it for a time when we really needed it.
Exactly. Actually, if you think about it this way, the other movies that we're talking about this season, we're going to be talking about Miracle on 34th Street, and we're going to be talking about Home Alone. And usually every year we do that one movie that just is tangentially a Christmas movie. We did Batman Returns, and we did Die Hard. And this year it's like Home Alone might fit that bill, but it's more.
We've also done Gremlins.
We did Gremlins. Yep, Gremlins is a Christmas movie, kind of in theme only.
That is a Christmas. He was a Christmas present.
He was an early Christmas present because can't let him starve, right? But yeah, I mean, just getting back to this one, if you haven't watched it or haven't watched it in a long time, it's a really good, just quick watch. It's about twice the length of a regular Mickey short from that era, or even the era of the 1940s or 50s. It's definitely worth it. And when you're going through that holiday collection on Disney Plus, there's going to be a lot of crap on. There's a lot of crap on there.
In fact, Mickey's Christmas Carol is kind of far down the list, actually.
It's in the shorts.
Yeah.
So definitely check that one out. It is really good. It's one of those movies that, because it's so short, you can make an annual viewing.
Yeah.
And
it was mine for a while.
Wine and you're good, unless you really want down that stuff, which I wouldn't recommend.
Or eggnog.
Yeah. Getting our first eggnog at Thanksgiving this year, so
yummy.
Gonna find something intoxicating to put in it. So, and I'm all out of Cafe Patron. I'm so mad. So
just go with just straight bourbon.
Yeah, I can do that. I have bourbon. Yeah, I got the Kentucky bourbon you gave me for Christmas last year. Yeah,
that's what Elton Brown suggests.
Yeah, that's a good one. I also have Spiced Rum, which also works too. I have salted caramel Crown Royal too. So that actually might taste good. That might taste really good. Ooh, even you, sir.
That might sweeten it up a little bit too much, though.
It's Cafe Patron's sweet, and I'm pretty good on that.
Okay.
So, but that's just, I guess it just depends. It's not, like they don't make fruitcake vodka just yet, but who knows? So, do you got anything else to say about Mickey's Christmas Carol? This is a short one, but it is a short movie.
It does. It did strike me a little bit odd this time, the fact that both Fred and Scrooge are so excited about having a big fat goose for dinner. You ducks.
Yeah, that brought up in conversation while we're watching that.
Let's eat our cousin. Oh, what? Merry Christmas?
Well, I don't know. I mean, is this just one of those things where Were there any geese? Like, were there actually like any geese caroling or dancing at Fezziwig's party?
Yes. There is that like goofy looking goose with like the weird bill.
Yeah.
He was either in like the streets in the beginning or at Fezziwig's party.
That wasn't was it Uncle Arthur or whoever from the Aristocats, was it?
It may have been.
Oh.
Yeah, well, or if it wasn't, then it looked really close. Just kind of looking through.
Just look. I found with this one that you really go deep on a lot of the Easter eggs that you maybe wouldn't do if this were made today.
Yeah, Uncle Waldo.
Uncle Waldo. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was clapping and dancing at Fezziwig's.
Roast goose, huh?
And Gus Goose dancing with Clara Cluck.
Oh yes, Lady Cluck is in, and we noticed Lady Cluck. We noticed a lot of the children from Robin Hood.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, that one had come out. That was 1977, so it was still fairly recent.
No, Robin Hood was 1973, I think.
Was it? Oh,
Rescuers was 1977.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you are right. You are right.
Okay.
But it's kind of again. I'm kind of weird that they used Mr. Toad. I mean, the time period is right. Victorian England, but Mr. Toad was 1949.
Yeah, but it's one of those characters that, let's be honest, Disney wasn't putting out a lot of great stuff.
No.
And it's not like they brought characters from the Rescuers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they hadn't gotten rid of the ride from Disney World yet.
Oh yeah. And I think it was just one of those things that's where they decided to take it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I really am fine with it. In fact, if it causes any discussion at all, it just means you got to go back and watch the older movies.
And plus, I mean, I think at that point, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad was still a Halloween staple.
At least the Ichabod part was. They used to cut those up like crazy on The Wonderful World of Disney.
Yeah,
I never actually watched Wind in the Willows or The Adventures of Mr. Toad until a couple of years ago. I had never seen it.
You know what? I don't even know if I've ever seen it myself. I know I've seen Adventure of Ichabod, and I don't know if they showed it together at Halloween, but I don't even remember ever actually watching Wind in the Willows.
Check it out. It's worth, even if you stop it there, then just have that continue watching, sitting on there for a little bit.
I've been on the ride out at Disneyland, so that's
where it still exists.
Yeah,
it actually is really well animated for a movie that was kind of made on a budget during the war. So
yeah.
But I really recommend Mickey Christmas Carol, which is
absolutely
what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'd love to know what everybody else thought of it. Do you have anything else to say about this before we?
No, only that the fact that we've been going on for about as long as the short is.
By the time we wrap, we'll go just slightly over. Yeah. So we want to know, what did you think about Mickey's Christmas Carol? Is that one of your go-tos? Have you ever actually watched it before, or if you haven't watched it? Or have you only seen it as part of a compilation? Because it doesn't feel complete without that song at the very beginning with the credits and everything. I definitely recommend checking that out. Also, in the comments below, let us know, what is your favorite version of A Christmas Carol? I'd love to hear that. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you've subscribed to it, you can do us the greatest favor, sharing this with your friends and your family. I'm trying to keep the movie reviews, at least for the children's stuff, reasonably clean now, so we can maybe get a bigger audience.
I don't think either one of us has sworn at all today.
I've been very good about that today. So
HE double hockey sticks, yay.
But definitely check out our other videos here. We do a series of retro reviews, and throughout the month of December, we're going to be doing a ton of Christmas movies. We should have some special guests with us. Hopefully Todd will be able to join us next week. He's in the middle of school, so he's got a lot of stuff going on right now. Also, check out the podcast that Mike and I host, Geek Salad. You can get that wherever you get your podcasts.
Part 2 should be up shortly.
Oh, yes, we are awaiting part 2 of our Looney Tunes Warner Brothers Animation Studios episode. And then after that, we're going to be discussing our favorite, our 12, or maybe it's 12, we don't know yet, our favorite nerd songs, our nerd Christmas songs, which will be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out. And again, you can check us out wherever you get your podcast, but you can get the full archive, including all our older Christmas shows, at geeksalad.podbean.com. You can find us on the socials where we are most active on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio. We're also on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. And if you're a fan of the show, check out our swag store at TeePublic, keyword Geek Salad Podcast, where you can get t-shirts, you can get mugs, you can get a whole mess of things over there. Yay. So until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. Have a great Thanksgiving. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you later. Go forth and be nerd.